Calling the childlike Empress Moonchild might have been a desperate attempt to save Fantasia, but I think it was Bastian's intention of revealing that Tami Stronach was a part of the darker side of the world. With that being said, this is my meager attempt to fix things for her. In a desperate moment, I only can imagine the thought that he was thinking. I'm talking about Bastion. He cried out, "Moonchild," just to save a dying world, but probably didn't see the way it impacted a girl. The childlike Empress would now be vanquished from the light and become associated with the creatures of the night. I knew about the desperation of this precious moment, but I'm worried that the outcome left somebody feeling broken. I pray for moonless nights, in spite of everything, the somber feeling that a desperate measure had to bring. I pray for moonless nights, in spite of everything, the somber feeling that a desperate measure had to bring. It's like you saw the darkness enveloping Fantasia, and you became the scapegoat. You soaked up the ambrosia inside the ivory tower. You lived there like a prisoner. Beyond the prison chamber, you were quite the cherished sister. Calling you Moonchild put you in a darker light and almost froze you like Han Solo in the liquid carbonites. Fantasia needed Bastion, but Bastion might have blundered. And that's of course if Tami Stronach felt there was discomfort. I pray for moonless nights, in spite of everything, the somber feeling that a desperate measure had to bring. I pray for moonless nights, in spite of everything, the somber feeling that a desperate measure had to bring. Moonless nights may seem a little drastic, but it's important to know that Tami Stronach didn't necessarily need to spend her days in Fantasia under the assumption that she was a creature of the night, as there's so much more to her character than your average earthling child could have ever imagined. They say a silly crook will look up at the moon. I think of Tami Stronach, I guess I'm a buffoon. You would have thought that when he got to wish for things thereafter, that the earthling child would know about the life you should recapture. A creature of the night, it's not the nicest tone to think you spent so many centuries locked up alone. If it's any consolation, I would have named you Alice. And that's because my mother's name was worth sipping a chalice. I pray for moonless nights, in spite of everything, the somber feeling that a desperate measure had to bring. I pray for moonless nights, in spite of everything, the somber feeling that a desperate measure had to bring. As much as I love the moon, I have to admit that Tami Stronach, aka the childlike Empress, could really benefit from some moonless nights. After everything that happened, when she was forced to take on the name of Moonchild.